You've probably been told that if you put your head down, clock your hours, and grind hard enough, your bank account will reflect your effort. But look around. Millions of people work themselves to the bone every single day, and their balances barely move. Felix Dennis started with absolutely nothing and built a global publishing empire like Maxim. He secured the immense, untouchable wealth most people only dream about. And he did it while openly mocking the sanitized advice other billionaires try to sell you. He believed that the standard motivational playbook, saving 10% of your paycheck, waiting for the perfect idea, is completely useless. The strategies that actually generate immense capital are harsh, unfiltered, and deeply uncomfortable. Joining the top 1% requires breaking a deep-seated psychological addiction to systemic comfort. Dennis viewed the monthly salary as the single most dangerous drug on the planet. He flatly called it the crack cocaine of the middle class. Think about the relief you feel when that salary-credited notification pops up on the first of the month. That tiny dopamine hit is literally engineered to pacify you. It weaves a thick blanket of false security. Once you settle into that manufactured comfort zone, your brain stops looking for the exit. The steady drip of a paycheck actively suppresses your appetite for the exact types of financial risks required to build independent wealth. As long as you are working to build someone else's company, you are never going to get rich. You are simply a highly replaceable brick in the architecture of their personal fortune. Achieving independence requires cutting the cord to that scheduled direct deposit once and for all. So let's say you take the leap. You quit your job, kick the salary addiction, and start your own company. You immediately face a secondary, far more deceptive trap. Dennis once sat down with the vice president of a massive commercial bank. This executive took home millions a year, drove luxury cars, and owned a sprawling estate. Yet, looking across the table, Dennis saw a slave. Every single luxury that executive enjoyed was entirely contingent on the whim of the actual owners of the bank. One bad quarter, one change in leadership, and it could all be instantly revoked. Generating a massive income means very little if you lack absolute control over the source. You might have upgraded the amenities, but you are still living inside a cage. This leads to the single most fatal error new founders make. The moment the pressure mounts, they trade away pieces of their company to early investors just to alleviate the financial stress. Every time you hand over equity, you fracture your control. A 10% stake seems small, but permanently dilutes your authority. Fast forward 10 years. You'll realize you traded away half the value of your life's hardest work for early breathing room. Dennis's rule here is totally uncompromising. Refuse the early cash. Embrace near starvation if you have to, but never surrender a single % of your ownership. He proved this in his own life. When he started out, he scraped by with nothing, wearing hole-ridden shoes and living on the margins, explicitly so he wouldn't have to sell out to investors. In the architecture of real wealth, the cash you hold is merely a byproduct. The only metric that actually dictates your ceiling is holding 100% of the pie. Once you own your company entirely, you face the ultimate battlefield. You have to step into the boardroom and extract actual value from industry titans. The business world operates on a harsh reality. The market does not care what you deserve, and it will never hand you a fair deal out of kindness. It yields only what you have the leverage to take.
To exert that leverage, Dennis relied on a devastating negotiation tactic. He would state his exact price, lean back, and deploy absolute, unbroken silence. Silence creates a psychological vacuum. When a minute passes, then two, human nature begins to panic. The opposing party feels an overwhelming urge to fill that void with words, and those words almost always arrive as desperate concessions. There is an ironclad rule at the negotiation table. The person who speaks first loses their power. When Dennis walked into one of London's poshest neighborhoods for his first major magazine deal, he barely had enough money for bus fare. Yet he lit an expensive borrowed cigar and strolled in with the absolute arrogance of an emperor. He was exercising the ultimate form of leverage, walkaway power, the fearless, absolute willingness to abandon the table. If the terms weren't right, he wouldn't argue. He would simply start snapping his briefcase shut mid-sentence, preparing to leave a $1 million deal without a single flinch. Operating with a strict nothing-to-lose mentality is incredibly dangerous to your opponents. When they realize you aren't afraid of the door, massive corporations will surrender to your terms.
total ownership, the tactical use of silence, and the power to walk away from a golden cage. These are the real foundations of control.